NC State.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like if they were to lose NC State, they go 11-1. In Notre Dame, I think very key here, Notre Dame is a 11-1 or 10-2
Well, I
against college
think
football
that's the
playoff.
thing about this, Lance. Is I think Notre Dame is probably going to go on and be a 10-2 type team. I don't know that, but I think that.
But when you go strength of schedule, and it's a big win. The American and the Mountain West on a week in and week out basis is gonna shoot you up a little bit, right?
But let's say Liberty, undefeated Liberty.
Oh, Liberty's out.
Yeah,
they can be unbeaten.
That's what I'm saying. A one-loss Northern Illinois is in front of an undefeated Liberty.
Yeah.
Liberty's out. They will not be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No, I think it. I mean, I think on a hand I could probably. Well, I don't know.
Pull up the Andy Staples.
Because I was going to say Northern Illinois is in the mix now.
Oh, 100%.
But I think Tulane, the way they played last week against Kansas State, even in the loss, I think Tulane is in the mix. I think Memphis can make a statement this weekend.
Memphis was my
Memphis
team.
Playing Florida State. Who's Andy got?
Andy Staples on 3. He's got UNLV in right now.
That's my team right now. I said it last week. I think UNLV will end up beating Boise State. Now, the thing is, UNLV has got an outstanding opportunity tomorrow night in Lawrence against Kansas.
That's right. So that would be, at one point, what was a ranked win. Kansas has fallen out since their recent loss.
That was Forrester's fault.
Then Northern Illinois, Boise, and South Florida. Now, people are going to say South Florida. Why is that there for Andy? Because a lot of people think post-Alabama that South Florida is about to go on a run.
Oh, I don't know if you guys remember this.
Welcome in Braves country to another episode. I think this is episode 31 of the Pennant Grace. Pretty
sounds right.
Sounds right. We're in for a fun day today. We are indoors despite our attire. Looks like we're the Jim Cantoris of the baseball
We
coverage
both got
world.
our rain jackets on.
We do.
Well, coming into the building here, the power was out. It was chaos. I bravely fought my way through the darkness to get here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dedication.
It is
We're
supreme
hoping
dedication.
that the power does not go out on us, but if it does, it'll be a good time. We have Lunsford today on the board for us. Give a wave.
He's a handsome guy.
Baseball.
There you go. John Lunsford about to be attending a baseball game this weekend as he will be in New York
I
to
did not
witness
know
the
this.
Yankees and Red Sox in Yankee Stadium.
Awesome. Please give us content from that.
One of many big series coming up this weekend. So if you are attending a game or just at home watching a game, you might as well do it in style. We're going to get to this later, but Sunday I was at Truist Park, and you better believe that I was dressed in
the nines.
Roback. And when I got that shirt, I went to roback.com. I put it in my little basket there.
Yep, little cart moment.
My little cart, and then they said, "You ready to check out?" And I said,
Not so fast.
"Not so fast, my friend. PG20 and save me 20%. You can do the same. Save 20% on your entire order. That's code PG20 at roback.com.
It's such a good deal. And you know you've been eyeing a polo, a quarter zip, what have you.
Yeah.
PG20, save 20%.
So I kind of like that we are dressed in black, like we're going to a funeral.
Yeah, it feels like it.
As we watched that game together last night, and it had a little bit of a feeling of that. So I want to go start off with a little State of the Braves for everyone here.
State of the Union.
A little State of the Union. The Atlanta Braves are 79 and 67. Here's kind of where we stand right now. We took 2 out of 3 from both the Rockies and the Blue Jays, those 2 previous series. Then you had that one-off, a makeup game with the Cincinnati Reds, which the Braves lost. So for those keeping track, I've mentioned the Rockies, Blue Jays, and Reds, none of which are playoff teams. Split a 2-game series with the Washington Nationals, not a playoff team. So that's 4 non-playoff teams that you've played with not as much to show for it as you would like. Braves are off today, and then we have this series with the Dodgers that I would, going in, it had been penciled for a while as this huge series. It doesn't feel huge.
No.
Teams on 2 different planes right now. So here's how we're going to go about this schedule. Off today, got 4 against the Dodgers at Truist.
In Atlanta.
Then at the Reds for 3, team we just saw. At the Marlins for 3. Another day off, and then you've got 2 series at home, 3 against the Mets. Don't have to tell you how important that one is, and then 3 against the Royals. Speaking of the Mets, partner, 1 back right now of the Mets for that final wild card position. 3 back on the Diamondbacks, 2.5 back on the Padres, and 4 up on the Chicago Cubs. Suddenly a new contender has emerged. So that's kind of where we stack up. That's pretty tight.
It is.
You know, when you really look at that, that's a lot of teams in the mix.
Yep.
You and I, really more me, talking about, look, San Diego and Arizona, forget about it. But, you know, you see now that, you know, you're talking 3 and 2.5. So the Mets have been the hottest team in baseball.
And it seems like every season this time of year, they heat up.
They just get
hot.
Insanely hot. Well, they eventually got up to maybe 8 or 9 wins in a row at one point.
9 wins in a row.
So you get a lot of jumbling up there. Set all this up, set the stage here to say that, you know, every game always matters. So I hate to be that guy, but every game matters.
It's now or never for the Braves. And it feels like we have tried to stay positive since April. And we have said there's time. There's time for this team to start clicking. There's time for the offense to wake up. If it does not happen over the course of these next 16 games, the Braves will miss the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, seeing that coming off and we're going to talk about Ronaldo Lopez later, but coming off him, you know, Ronaldo Lopez only pitches an inning, gets pulled, you know, stomach sinks, the whole feeling. Here it comes. We're about to, you know, bullpen pitches a shutout, and the offense just absolutely explodes. Had to wait till the 6th inning last night to get a base hit. That was from Michael Harris II. So you have this offensive explosion 2 nights ago, and then last night they're just nowhere to be found.
No, and Jake Irvin has had the Braves number in each start against the Braves, and it seems like the Braves just cannot figure him out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help, you know, coming off such an offensive explosion like you mentioned. It's like the Braves will go 3 steps ahead and take 6 steps back every time.
Right.
So disappointing if you're a Braves fan. And the Nationals, that's a team that on paper the Braves should get a win from. Doesn't help that the Mets keep winning. It was a come-from-behind win against the Blue Jays, I want to say.
Right.
So this time of year, I do think it makes for good baseball. Unfortunately, it is at the Braves' expense that usually we're sitting 8-9 games up right now, and we're just waiting on the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not so much this year.
Yeah, you talking about having their number, that Martinez for the Reds. I mean, he looked like the most dominant pitcher I've ever seen. Braves could do nothing. Against him. So you see a game like the Braves had Tuesday night, and you're filled with, wow, look at what this team is capable of. But then to just see that absolutely no follow-up from that, no consistency. I'm looking for some type of offensive trend. Not seeing that at all.
The trend is that there's no consistency.
The trend is the team can't hit.
The team can't hit. And that sounds harsh coming from us, but at this point, there's a large enough sample size. The offense has not been on a consistent hitting streak, I think, all season.
A team that is leading the majors in ERA can't hit. And you're going against teams that can.
Yeah, as simple as that.
You know, and so, you know, you always hate, and I don't hear any criticism about Max Fried. He still put the team in a position, if you get a little offense there, you're playing a subpar team. There's just absolutely no excuse for it.
To jump in on that, it feels like if the pitcher gives up even 2 runs, the Braves are out of position to come back.
Right.
So Max Fried still put the Braves in a position, if, like you said, any offense could have awoken and done something. But now if the Braves are down by 2 runs, it feels like the game's already over before it even starts.
Really does. So you're going to have all these teams playing with a sense of urgency. Atlanta, the Mets, Arizona, San Diego, and the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
They're all playing with a sense of urgency. I think that, and I wonder how this will play into some of these. And we're going to talk about the schedule here in a minute of what's ahead this weekend. Tremendous baseball weekend. Not the greatest college football weekend.
It's not. We talked about that last night.
Don't worry. There's a great baseball weekend on tap. So, how the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Phillies, obviously they want to finish strong, and they're wanting that overall number 1 seed. But they don't have to play with a sense of urgency.
They're comfortable.
The other teams that I mentioned, because there's no way those teams miss the playoffs.
No, and I think that you're going to see some roster adjustments to reflect that because they're preparing for October.
Yeah.
The Braves are not.
Yeah, and I got a sense, I don't know this, but, you get a sense from New York Mets that, they may be thinking wild card. They may be thinking we're still trying for the division.
Exactly.
Scary thought.
Ward does say he's going to be at the game on Saturday in Atlanta. Send us pictures from that.
Yeah.
Let us know. He is a Dodgers fan.
But that's okay. He's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And we accept any and all. So talking about this weekend, look at the lineup here. This is a heavyweight lineup about what's ahead. This is like when, Auburn is playing Georgia and Alabama has LSU and Tennessee, is playing Ole Miss, and it's all the same weekend or something like that. You've got Dodgers, Braves, obviously, and that's a 4-game series. You've got Mets, Phillies. That's the one I'm going to really be watching closely, but also Brewers and Diamondbacks.
Yes.
That is an intriguing series.
That's kind of like a sneaky one.
It
If you haven't been covering, or watching all season, that's one that you may not expect, but tune in, keep up with scores.
Padres have the Giants, and then the Cubs have the Rockies. And so, obviously for the Padres and Cubs, they're looking to gain some ground there. And then the three I mentioned at first: Dodgers, Braves, Mets, Phillies, and Brewers, Diamondbacks. That's big time baseball.
So we got some discussion in the TNR chat room presented by MyBookie this afternoon about, do we cheer for the Phillies or the Mets? And I say Phillies.
Oh,
unfortunately.
100%. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
You pull for anything and everything against the New York Mets at this point.
Yeah, it stings if you're a Braves fan. Now, I will say this. Let us clarify. We appreciate all teams. I don't want it on record that I don't like a specific team. And you know why I'm referring to that.
You don't want some kind of Jimmy Landmine situation here?
No, I don't want this to be unearthed in 5 years when I've been asked to cover the Phillies. I think
good
they're
idea.
great.
Does that ever happen to someone?
It actually has.
Interesting.
It has. And if you know what we're talking about, we'll all laugh collectively. So, on record, I think all teams in the major leagues are incredible.
And have value and are handsome.
I appreciate them. I
Yep,
love
you
their
do.
traditions.
Yes, you do.
We'll leave it at that.
We throw shade on this show from time to time. Keep it fun. Going back to Ronaldo Lopez. So, shoulder inflammation. How good of a season was Ronaldo Lopez having? 2.03
Pretty
ERA. Best in baseball. Has been absolutely tremendous. A lock for that really number 2 starter for Atlanta this season. And, I don't think there's any way he comes back for the regular season. And so the only chance we have of seeing Ronaldo Lopez pitching for the Braves this year will be if the Braves make the playoffs.
That's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you look at what the Braves have coming up. But it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, and I say that there is a chance he comes back in the regular season, but I just don't see that happening.
And it's a 15-day IL, so we're not on the medical staff. I would assume maybe we don't know about rehab, what that will look like, but pretty much we would not expect to see him until October if the Braves are in that position.
I don't expect to see Ozzie Albies. He hasn't even started a rehab assignment.
No, and that was supposed to be about a week should everything go as planned. And what's the date today? The 12th?
Today is the 12th.
So now think about this, though. If the Braves do land back in that, playoff spot for the wild card, it would be really intriguing to have Ozzie, potentially Ronaldo, not sure status of Austin Riley, all back for that. And that could be something that gives the Braves an edge that no other team really has.
And that is possible. We'll have to see, I think we'd all love to see it.
For sure.
So we'll have to see if that's something that comes into the mix. Some people we have seen, one is Daysball Hernandez. He was brought in. We pitched last night. Mm-hmm. So good to see him back providing something in the bullpen there. And then infielder Kevin Biggio, who was last with the Giants, was released by the Giants. And obviously with Whit Merrifield still being out now, do expect Whit to be back.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about that on the show.
So taking a foul ball off the foot. So the back, the guy you brought in because your second baseman is out gets hurt, and now you go in, and it's Kevin Biggio, whose offensive numbers have been really bad. Got charged with an error last night, but they ended up correcting that, which I thought was the right call. So you're just trying to duct tape together what you can at this point. And then for a minute there, we had Chadwick Trump back on the roster. Travis d'Arnaud was on paternity leave,
And
but
he's
back.
reinstated,
Yeah,
yep.
he as of today. So you do have both catchers there back. Mention I was at the game Sunday, partner. That is the Braves and Blue Jays.
On the 9th?
That what was Sunday? What are you trying to?
I don't
trip me
know.
up
I don't
there?
know.
I
I
don't
just
have a
wanted a
calendar in
date.
front of me.
Hold on, let me see.
It was a day in September. So, friend of the show, Ward Smallwood,
No, it was the 8th.
the 8th. Big shout out to Ward for the tickets. Tremendous tickets. So, right next to the Chop House, the section right there where the foul pole is, great seats. And really, after the first couple innings in the shade, but even in the sun, it wasn't bad at all because it was just such a beautiful day.
It was.
Had such a great experience, my wife and I, going in and out of the stadium. Talked to you last night about how friendly all of the staff was at each of the concession stops and all those type things. The store, scanning your ticket, everything first rate. Not the prettiest game in the world.
No, it was exciting though towards the end.
It was exciting, and the crowd was really into it. And we got to see a Chris Sale start live, which was a wonderful thing to watch him pitch. And the Braves get the win in extra innings. Not a lot of offense. Kind of lucked into it there at the end. Sean Murphy with the game-winning hit. But it still had a great time at the ballpark. What did I eat at the ballpark is an important thing to talk about.
So let's break this down, and let's also give some parking tips for those that may be catching a game as the season closes out.
So parked at, what's the name of the mall?
Cumberland
Mall, across the street. And highly recommend that. And the Braves have really partnered with them, whereas, they have a lot of signage up. You have pedestrian bridges, and they make it really easy for people to do that. That's free parking, by the way. So park, walk over, you just follow all the signage, and boom, you're right there. I don't know, maybe 15 minutes of walking, which is on a nice day was a treat. Actually, even in the car. Coming from Birmingham, that's a 2-hour plus drive, so it was nice to walk, stretch your legs a little bit.
So another spot, if you guys are going, you park Cumberland Mall. Also, there's a Brewster's. I think it's on Windy Hill. Across from that, there is $5 parking, and it is so easy. It's incredibly easy. Park there, probably about a 10-minute walk, saving a little time. You do want to go behind all of the restaurants, and you might think, e.g., I don't want to go behind a restaurant. It's smelly back there. No, completely fine. And there's always groups of people going back and forth. So a little tricks of the trade if you're attending a Braves game soon.
Plus, if they're still open, you get Brewster's, you get an ice cream after the game. It's a pretty good deal. So speaking, I'll get to ice cream in a second. So start with a hot dog, jumbo hot dog, French fries. We shared Diet Coke, friends at Coca-Cola. This is Coca-Cola Oreo, Coca-Cola
How
Zero,
is that?
by the way. It's pretty good. And I was a little hesitant to try it, but you got to try things in life. And so Oreo, Coca-Cola Zero, everyone, the mashup you never knew you needed.
Did you guys do the Stadium Cup for the Diet Coke?
Originally, no.
Okay.
And then I also got Cracker Jack. So
classic.
I'm a traditionalist, and I love Cracker Jack. And so had that, we're good to go. And then after the 5th, let's take a little stroll around and get a little something sweet. And my wife wanted funnel cake. And we had trouble finding funnel cake. We just looked. We learned last night we kind of went the wrong way.
Yeah.
But eventually found cotton candy for her, which she was happy about. I, because I'm still basically 7 years old, got to get my little ice cream and my little
Braves helmet?
Braves helmet.
No way.
And my wife got a water and said, but I'd like a cup of ice. He's like, oh, we got to charge for that. And she's like, no problem. I'll take it in the souvenir cup. So get the cup that way. Yeah. And so you got to have a large collection of game day cups in your cupboard. But had a great time there. Again, shout out to Ward. Appreciate him very much. Great experience. All right, all that out of the way. We got to talk about some real baseball here.
Yeah.
4-game series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Want to go over these pitching matchups.
Heavyweight.
For you. So tomorrow we have got, that's a 6:20 first pitch, 6:20 Central Standard Time, and that's the Apple game.
Yep.
So keep in mind, Apple, if you don't have that or not going to try a free trial or whatever it is, our friends at the Braves Radio Network always have you covered. 680 The Fan is a free app, and you can listen to every Braves game on that app. 680 The Fan.
It's good quality.
It's great. They do a great job. Landon Knack, 2-3 with a 3.0 ERA, taking on Spencer Schwellenbach. So a couple of rookies. Spencer 5-7 and a 3.78. Coming off not a very good start for him. I loved his post-game comments where it's like, I'm going to keep pitching the strike zone, and if every once in a while they catch me, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I get
can live
that.
with it too.
I can too. Game 2, and this to me is the marquee matchup in this series. 6:20 start time. Jack Flaherty 12-6 with a 2.86 ERA against the soon-to-be Cy Young winning Chris Sale, 16-3 with a 2.38 ERA. That is a heavyweight fight.
Yep. It's going to be interesting, and that's game 2, so that's going to be Saturday.
Yes.
And I'm excited for that. I'll be down in Auburn, but I'll be keeping up with it. I think if you're the Braves, you at least need to split.
Yeah.
At least. And I think if the offense can help Sale out on Saturday, that would be huge.
Just to not lose more ground.
Exactly. You want to stay in the position you're in at the very least.
The good thing about the Phillies and the Mets, someone has to lose.
Exactly. Someone has to. And that is a good thing for Atlanta, no matter which way you spin it.
Game 3 is 6:10 on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Our friend Buster Only as Walker Buehler, who has really struggled this year, 1-5 with a 5.95 ERA. Injury plagued, and talking to the Duke of Denham, Reed Taylor, noted Dodgers enthusiast, may never see Walker Buehler back to what he once
I would
was,
agree with that.
which is a shame. Going against Uncle Charlie Morton, who's 8-8 with a 4.11 ERA. Good start the last time out. So
I'd expect that one to be a little more high scoring than Saturday's game.
I can see that. Then you got another really good matchup in Game 4. That's a 6:20 first pitch with Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Killed that.
6-2 with a 2.88. He's really been pitching well. Taking on Max Fried, 9-9 with a 3.46. So that's a good one to end the series on. And so, again, reminding you after that 4-game series, the Braves will go to the Great American Ballpark to take on the Cincinnati Reds for a 3-game series. So really just not a lot of margin of error left as we're this deep into September.
And it's crazy that we're already to this point. I think, again, this is a great weekend of baseball, football, matchups. Nothing really sticks out, but I think that if you want to kind of catch up, this is the weekend to do it. And it's now or never for the Braves. I think this time next week when we're sitting down to chat, hopefully we're celebrating some small wins, potentially some offensive continuity, hopefully pitching can last. But I feel like the Braves will play well in this series because we've talked about it all season. The Braves tend to play better in these series than they do against teams like the Nationals, the Rockies, the White Sox. I think, per Scott Forster, one of the only series the White Sox has won is against the Braves.
Yeah. It's really been one of the
oddest.
It's been one of the things about this team that has really affected their record as much as anything. They have not taken care of business against bottom level teams, the second half teams.
But you look at the pitching statistics, and you would think that those would be the easiest games to win.
You would. Got a good PG postscripts for us here.
Okay, let's hear it.
James Earl Jones, who recently passed away, I think he was 93.
Fact check
it. Admiral James Greer from the Jack Ryan movies, voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah, 93.
Mufasa, voice of Mufasa. Lots of stage and screen. An EGOT winner.
Nice.
One of the few that can claim that. Storied career, but is also in a couple of beloved baseball movies. Terrence Mann in Field of Dreams. Saw a lot of that speech going out where he's talking to Ray about baseball, Ray. And The Sandlot. So, what is your favorite baseball movie?
Moneyball comes to mind.
Okay.
Initially,
Yeah.
I think that's just a good one. Sandlot is nostalgic for me. I remember watching it like in elementary school. And, I watched this over Christmas with my brother because he thought this was like the best baseball movie in the world. And I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it, but it's about this guy. Lunsford, I might need your help here.
Movie question, Lunsford.
Who?
Not trivia. Don't worry.
Let me explain. Like, I need to gather my thoughts.
He's a guy.
He's a guy that is a like serial bettor. Okay, so he kept losing money on bets. So he's like down on his luck. He gets like punched in the face, kicked out of a bar, and he was told he had to volunteer for something. So he picks up a little league team.
Oh, is that how Keanu Reeves?
Yes. What movie is that?
Keanu Reeves. Lunsford.
And there's a plot twist in it that is so sad.
And then
Baby, is that the kid's name?
And then they dress as ex-presidents and rob banks and surf. No.
What?
Sorry, that's Point Break. Got that one wrong. And then there's this out-of-control bus.
Hardball.
Hardball. Okay, so I don't know if it is the best baseball movie by any stretch of the imagination, but if you want a movie that's really quick, it's like, what, an hour and a half, maybe? Not
Okay.
even?
I like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, it might be worth your watch if there's absolutely nothing on, but just for my brother Jake's sake, I'll give him a little shout out there.
So, in my opinion, baseball by far has the best of sports movies. And that may not be the highest bar there. There's some bad sports movies to be sure, but I do think there's a higher percentage of good baseball movies than other sports.
I think it's easier to emulate on the big screen.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to emulate football.
Not a lot of good football movies.
No, but baseball, I feel like it's a lot easier to do that with.
A lot of good baseball movies. Scott Forster
42 is good.
says Major League, and that's certainly one of my favorites. I've seen it many times. It is absolutely in my top 5. A League of Their Own is good. Bull Durham is good. For Love of the Game is good. Field of Dreams is good. The Rookie is good. There's a lot of good baseball movies. In addition to the ones you mentioned.
I don't love sports movies. I will say that.
But my favorite baseball movie, and one of my top 10, maybe top 5 favorite movies of all time, is The Natural.
The Natural.
With Robert Redford.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Roy Hobbs. Robert Redford plays Roy Hobbs. And it is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's a great movie that just so happens to be a baseball movie.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen it, I cannot encourage you to watch it enough. Great cast: Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Kim Basinger. Who's the judge? Who plays the judge? Gavin McLeod. I think that's right. No, is Gavin McLeod Captain Steubing?
I don't know.
Got my Gavins mixed up. He's the dad in
Lunsford?
Christmas Story. Is the judge or the?
He's looking it up.
Yeah, I'm getting some of the cast
Moneyball
members
is so good.
mixed up. Barbara Hershey. Anyway, great movie. Make sure if you've never seen it, The Natural.
I've never seen it.
With Robert. You would love it.
Love it?
I can give you a 10 out of 10 guarantee that you would love that movie.
Okay. Have you watched Molly's Game yet?
No,
You need to watch it.
I have not.
You need to watch it. That was a rec from Tim Melton, and he said the same thing. 10 out of 10 will guarantee you'll love it, and I did, and I played the best poker of my life following.
I trust Tim Melton. Hunter, friend of the show, Hunter's chiming in with Moneyball, and Rocky chiming in. God, I love him. I want to hug him right now, and he's not here. Moneyball. Air, that was a good sports movie.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
That was a good one. Pretty well done there.
Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle's
So
great.
good.
Love it. But The Natural, to me, trumps all by far. So we'll see. Trying to think of a good segue. If winning can be a natural, if you make me feel like a natural winner.
There we go.
This weekend against the Duke of Denham's mighty Los Angeles Dodgers for our Atlanta Braves. Braves fans, don't throw in the towel. Don't throw your hands up. A lot of you have. Stay with it. There's a lot of baseball to be played, and not just for Atlanta. What Atlanta can do to control their own destiny, and then what happens around them as a lot of these teams end up playing each other. That is vital.
And this is the weekend for it. It's going to be a great weekend of baseball. Let us know what y'all's thoughts are on our social media at the Pennant Grace. We love to hear from you. And we have just a few more weeks of the regular season. Hopefully we are chatting for much longer than that.
Yeah, and we'll do a big, postseason preview. We'll bring out all the stops for that one.
The Braves are in it or not. We will give you guys that. Hopefully bring on some guests. So look forward to that. But follow us on social media at the Pennant Grace. Again, we'd love to hear from you. We love to interact with you guys on social media. Send us pictures of what games y'all are attending, your best game day spots, any tips and tricks for our followers, and what code do they need to use while they're attending games to be the most stylish fan there.
That is code PG20. It's going to save you 20% on your entire order. Look your best. Whether your team is winning or losing, you can always win the fashion game.
Yes, you can.
With code PG20. Programming note, our friends at The Meltdown live today, 2 o'clock Central. If you are not, make sure you are following that on YouTube. Set your alerts. Like, subscribe, follow, and all of those good things at Meltdown247 on social media.
And until next time, Braves Country, we love to have you here. Big shout out to Lunsford and Forrester. See you later.